Okay. Well, look, how you guys doing? I am your boy Uncle Will of Umbrella Entertainment, and the day is finally here, y'all. The premiere of Umbrella Studios. That's my word podcast. Me and both my co-hosts, Latrell Late and See the Right, we've been working diligently behind the scenes to bring you guys great content, and we're looking forward to you guys enjoying the show. Now, the show wouldn't be nothing without the lovely Latrell Late. Yeah, so have they found a replacement for Latrell yet? And my boy, See the Right. I know what I said. His name should be See the Wrong, because he's wrong about every damn thing. And get my manager on the phone. And so, our goal here at TMW is to be Metro Detroit's #1 urban podcast. Again, it is intended for the mature listeners. And for you ladies that's in need of a little bit of advice to help you find a man, you should definitely subscribe to the show. And for all you ladies out there that's having a problem with your child's father, tell him about the show and have him to subscribe too. Hell, maybe this show will help you guys bridge a gap, come together in unity. After all, it is about the kids. Uncle Will love the kids. Okay, so now we're finally here. The premiere is ready to drop. Here's today's title. Ladies, what would you do if your man was to come to you and tell you, babe, one time, I had a same-sex encounter. I tried it. I realized I didn't like it. And I've been straight ever since. What would you do if you was in that situation? And so, on behalf of me and my co-hosts, Latrell Late and See the Right, enjoy the show. And after you watch, if you like what you see, write a comment. And if you don't like what you see after you see it, don't say a damn thing. Enjoy. The views on That's My Word podcast is expressed strictly for entertainment purposes only. Word. Welcome to That's My Word podcast, presented to you by Umbrella Entertainment, intended for the mature listener. With your hosts, Will, Latrell Late, and See Right. So, thanks for watching and listening to the show. Enjoy. Okay. No, I ain't gonna try to use that. Hey, how you doing, everyone? This is your boy, Uncle Will, and I am here on behalf of Umbrella Entertainment. We are proud to welcome you guys here for the premiere of Umbrella Studios, That's My Word podcast. So, a lot of people ask me, where did you get the concept for That's My Word? And I tell them, well, me and my co-host, we all come from an era, we grew up in the 80s. And back then, when you used the phrase,
don't date me.
Word. Wait, I mean, look at you. You're good and dated, right? But listen, that don't sound good.
Okay, yeah.
No. I'm just saying.
We're gonna get through this.
So, when you use the phrase, that's my word, word is bond, that means you stood by what you said, right?
Right.
Stood, stand.
There you go.
Solid.
So that's my word.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go any further, let's introduce the rest of the team here, okay? So to my left, we have the lovely, the talented, the beautiful,
Thank
the
you.
very significant See Right.
Wow. Okay.
Don't hate.
This
Don't
is
hate.
not
Hi,
gonna
I'm
go
C.
well.
Right. I'm
This
pleased
is
to
not
meet you
gonna
all.
go well.
There you go.
Not gonna go well.
See Right. Tell me a little something about yourself, man. Just go into a little detail.
Don't nobody want to hear nothing about him, but go ahead.
I think the viewers will get to know me more as the show will develop, let alone my uniqueness and my personality. I'll leave it at that.
There you go. Okay. Now, we have, again to my left, her.
That's okay. I am Latrell Late, and as you can see, I'm dealing with some. Anyway, I'm here and happy to be here. And again, as C. Wright said, as the show progresses, you'll get to learn more about our personalities. So I'm just, looking forward to some nonsense and some bullshit.
Well, I would say some BS. It's gonna be some nonsense, but the whole purpose of the show
I'm sitting between nonsense.
is to
And we're surviving too.
Wow.
right. Whole purpose is to edumatain you.
Okay.
Are you ready for it? That's the question.
That's
Are
right.
you ready for it?
We're gonna educate you. We're gonna entertain you. We're gonna tell you how we feel, what we think, and keep in mind, Uncle Will, I am the OG, so I do
In
consider
what country?
I do consider myself as a guru of love. I can teach you women how to get a
Please don't
man,
do this. Not on the first
keep a
one.
man, and trust me, we'll get there. So, but anyway, well, you don't think I have that talent?
Nobody, right? I know you don't have that talent
I am happily married, and why I'm happily married?
because your wife is making sure that you're happily married. Nothing that you've done. I promise you.
I'm happily married because she listened. But that's another subject, right?
Okay.
That's another show. As you see, she's not listening, and that's why she's not
I
happily
thought it
married
had
right
something
now.
to do with the down payment you did, but I guess I don't know
Thank
about
you.
it.
Thank you. See, everybody knows about that. We don't
Okay.
think.
Whatever
We're
happened
white people.
to men's liberation? We want to stick together, right?
Right, not
Dun,
on
dun,
that,
dun.
but-
Yeah, okay. I
Now
see,
when we
I
have a
see.
woman sitting between us, now,
Thank you.
Yeah.
we're divided.
Well, that's
Okay.
another subject too. The power of the P.
That's right.
But
very powerful.
let's move on, right? So, tell me this. Now, we live in an era where it is expected that we be conscientious of people's lifestyle, people's behavior, and stuff like that. So, of course, we have kids that are like millennials, and the millennials have really helped me to realize some of my old ways is not appropriate in today's market,
How
right?
so?
Well, if I say certain things, my daughters, they are quick to correct me. Like, one of my daughters, her friend, a male friend came over. I said, damn, he really is sweet, ain't he? Like that, you know what I'm saying? Or another time I said, dang, that's 100% rain sugar right there. You know what I'm saying? But that's come from the era that I come from. I didn't mean no harm by it.
Right.
And you
You know what I'm
sound
saying?
southern by
Right.
saying that too. Are you from the south?
Well, I am a city boy with country blood.
Okay.
Okay. Now, but anyway, so now we want to pose a question to you guys or to you gals because I think this affects you guys a lot. So, what if your mate was to come to you and say, you know what, baby? It was a time in my life where I was curious. I had this itch I needed to scratch, and I had a same-sex relationship. I only did it once. I mean, once I, finished coming, and I got up, I realized, you know what? I don't like men.
So be more descriptive on what you're saying. Are you talking about the man having a relationship with another man
Yes.
and coming to his girlfriend, or now his wife?
So,
Or does that matter?
does it? I mean, what about to you? Do that matter to you?
Well, first let me put out there, I think you guys will probably have more experience with this in terms of, you having boyfriends and then going, now trying to come back, to females and, posing that to them. So I think, you guys would probably be more credible than I would. But when I think about that question, as a woman and as a heterosexual woman, and never
All your life?
all my life,
Okay.
all my life being a heterosexual woman, no judgment,
Right.
but being a heterosexual woman all my life,
Okay.
and never
Mentally and physically.
mentally and
Okay,
physically,
okay,
and
okay.
never experiencing a same-sex relationship.
Right.
If I were dating somebody
Mhm.
and they came to me, dating a man,
Okay.
and they came to me and said, hey, I've had a same-sex encounter, I don't know that I would care that they said they didn't like it afterwards. I don't know that I would care that it may have been long ago. My fear, I think, would be more of if you got to the point where you even experimented with that says something to me.
Okay.
And as well as you've done this or whatever, I would, as a woman, feel like because there are differences, I assume, with you being with, a man being with a man and a man being with a woman. And my fear would be that there is nothing that I could give you that you would want.
Evidently, they gave you time because they're with you right now.
Well, I'm just saying what my fear would be. My fear would be I couldn't get past that. I don't care how long ago it was.
Mhm.
And I don't care that you're saying now you don't like it. I'm just saying that if you've ever done it and you told me about it, I'm going to feel like, wow, then you don't want me. Even though you might be with me, but you don't want me because you mentally wrapped your mind around doing this.
I mean, hold up, but see, he brought up a good point though.
Mm-hmm.
If he's with you
Now, mm-hmm.
evidently, then this is what he wants. Not that he said that I'm bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
I swing on both sides of the fence. No, I am not gay.
Mm-hmm.
I just did it
Right
one
now.
time. No,
Mm-hmm.
no,
I'm just saying that's how I would feel
Which-
as a woman.
and
I would feel like there's no coming back from that.
In other
in
words,
my opinion.
she's saying,
Nothing
correct me if I'm
that-
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying basically a reprobate mind, as one would describe it, correct? And you feel there is no coming back, or the fact of the matter is that you always worry about it coming back?
Probably both.
Okay. So what you're saying then is you feel a little bit insecure on that aspect.
Well, I'm not insecure. I think that person would want me to believe that I am what they want, and I'm just saying that's how I would look at it.
Well,
That's all I'm saying. So how would you look at it?
well,
How
well,
because
well,
I know this has
I'm-
happened to you in the past with a man. So yeah.
Oh, hey, she's talking about us. You hear that? Okay, that's all good.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's
Absolutely.
all good. That's all good. Okay. Nonetheless, though, the way I look upon it, I mean, since I've gotten older and I've had a lot of reflection, anytime we lay down with anybody, hell, you could be standing up. You know what I'm saying? Bend over. But I'm just saying, we could be any type of direction on that aspect. Anytime there's an exchange of
Wait a minute. What was the good point?
No, I mean, like you said, you was standing bending over.
Yeah, it was a good position. Okay, so
go ahead.
the point is,
Okay.
anytime there's an exchange of fluids,
Mm-hmm.
we are basically taking a chance with our lives.
I mean, but
No,
I
hold
don't
on,
see
hold
what
on.
they got to do with
I'm gonna get to that in a
this
second.
dude having a relationship with another man, but he's come to me. That is a sign of strength, possibly. Then, because
Wow.
I mean, for him to be able to come on out, because men are looked upon as being the leader of the household, that strong man or whatever. He could lift the couch and push the refrigerator, and then for a woman now to have that same man who she looked at upon as being her leader tell her, you know what? One time, I penetrated another man.
But how
It
did
messed with
you?
them mentally, I guess.
Well, how did you get to that point? And I'm going to give the example. For example, okay. So my example is this: I've never used crack. Okay.
Okay.
I don't feel like I need to ever use crack to know that I won't like it. So what I'm saying is,
Okay.
sounds like you have.
No.
But you said I'm saying,
No,
so
he sound like physical crack he used. But anyways, go ahead.
man crack.
Right, there you go.
So, but my point is, if you have wrapped your mind around even going that route,
Right.
that's what what I would be concerned about. Again, no
In
judgment,
other words-
anything. I'm just saying, if I was the girlfriend,
Because there was
and my
there was
man
sexual
said-
arousal for you to even
yes,
to go that
so
far.
again, my fear would be, well,
Okay.
men's sex, I'm assuming, is something totally different than heterosexual sex.
Is it?
Okay.
Is it?
Okay. What the hell you expect? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
All right.
hey,
You
honey,
had
I
this
love my
conversation
wife.
with your wife? You might love. I know you love your wife. That's why.
Yes, I
this
love my
topic is very
wife,
strong to
and
you.
I love to be with
Every
every
bit
other
about
woman
it.
before that.
Now,
Woman only.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anyway, so now,
But that would be my fear.
but what is
That
the
I
real
would-
fear though?
For me, the real fear would be that I cannot satisfy them, because that's something totally different. Same sex to me is different than heterosexual sex. So if you have had that type of encounter, that's, to me, in my mind, and of course, I guess I really don't know, but in my mind, that's something totally different. So if my boyfriend or whatever said, hey, I've had this type of encounter in the past, one, I'm concerned about how did you get to the point where you've done that?
Okay.
Number one, and number two, to me, the actual act is so different between each other that I don't see how I could please you, because to me, you like this type of sex, and I can't give you that type of sex, right? I
Right.
mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you know the difference.
Okay, I understand. That's what I'm saying. But
He understands.
see, right, brought up another point about the bodily fluid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would you care to elaborate a little bit more on that one?
The
then?
fact of the matter is, anytime we're laying down with somebody else, okay, laying down, or like she was talking about, the 45-degree angle.
Mhm.
Okay,
I was never talking about a 45-degree
okay,
angle.
I'm sorry. So in regards,
Let's get to today.
okay, so in regards to that, anytime we're laying down, we're exchanging fluids.
Okay.
So as I gotten older and more mature as far as thought process, we actually entrusting somebody else with our life
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know. And also recent research, every time a man has, we'll say, climaxed inside of a lady, that lady's still carrying his DNA.
Okay. I mean,
So-
but I'm still not understanding the significance of that.
Well, the
Just-
thing is, it's that trust factor. And to bring you to that point of arousal,
Mhm.
okay, to say, hey, I'm attracted to that person. I mean, you may be in a relationship and all of a sudden fall out, not being attracted to no person, okay? But
Mhm.
all of a sudden, is that same attraction the same as far as gender-wise when it comes to being aroused, a man to a man to a woman, and to alternate?
Mm.
Okay, so the overall concern, what she's saying is, how does she know that trigger will not be? Same thing though in heterosexual relationships. Man may be with a woman for so ever long, but next thing you know, what happens? She may all of a sudden want to walk out and be with another man, or he may want to be with another lady. That's arousal. So what's indifference? It's unnatural indifference between the two.
Okay.
And that's a curiosity that's questionable in regards to leaving one wondering and saying, hey, I don't want to be bothered with that, because that switch may be flipped again.
Now, do you guys think differently about a woman being with another woman than than when you were with another man?
First of all, I've never been with another man, okay, because that's my preference, and no,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
shouldn't be.
mine too.
I believe your experience, okay, it was well said for you to speak up like that, but me personally, no, this is my preference.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in regards to women I've dated in the past, have I found where women can say that strictly they're one way, then all of a sudden alternate a different way? Yes. Have I dated women in the past who have been in, we'll say, lesbian or whatever you want to call it, relationships? Yes, I have.
No, but do you feel, for example, when you think about guy on guy, for example, that you may have certain feelings about that, versus when you think about girl on girl?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
yeah.
seems to me like society accepts women dating other women
Right.
more so than how they accept men dating men. Again, no judgment or anything. I just wanted to know what you guys thoughts were. about
Well,
that.
you know what? I mean, let's clear the air on some things. This whole conversation isn't because we're badgering the LGBT, nothing like
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that.
Because you used to be in that community.
I mean, I have worked in the community.
No.
Because I do video photography, so I have done
See how you
weddings
tried to clean it
and
up?
everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's safe to say that we all have family that is part of that community.
Yes.
But I think that it is more acceptable for girl on girl, because if you let's just keep it real. If you're watching porn, ain't no way in hell a woman who's watching a same-sex man and she gonna get all tingly and sensational inside.
How do you know?
Hey, come on, you crazy as hell.
No, I'm asking you. How do you
No,
know?
because
Were you a woman?
no, I wasn't a woman, but
Okay.
I do know that.
Do you watch porn?
Yes, I do.
With your
With wife?
No, I don't, because
Okay,
that's something else.
wifey. Check
That's
him
another.
out.
Again, that's another topic.
He
you know
cheating
what I'm
on
saying?
you.
No,
He
it's not.
cheating on you with the
It's entertainment.
TV.
It's entertainment. It's entertainment, right?
He cheating on her with the TV.
Just
That's
like going to see a stripper's
unacceptable.
entertainment. But
Oh,
anyway,
you see strippers too?
no, that's when I was younger.
Okay.
But what I'm just saying is, no, it's more acceptable to see two women because
According to you.
women are nurturers. Women are known as being soft and vulnerable. Men are not looked at
But
upon
what
as
does
being
that have
soft
to
and
do
vulnerable.
with two women being together? Just because they're looked at as being nurturers?
It's more
Because
exciting.
from my
It's just
point
more
of view-
exciting.
Is
For
it
you, because you're speaking from a
For
man's point of view.
heterosexual men.
Men,
I mean,
okay,
hey,
okay.
that's my word.
Okay,
That's right. I'm
okay,
speaking on the
okay,
man's point of view from
Okay.
what I have experienced and what I have known.
Again, what he is.
Men are
He has
more
experience
tolerable
in it.
of that.
Yeah,
And I just can't see no dang old woman sitting there, ooh, Bobby and Bobby. No, I don't see it happening.
Okay.
That's just me.
From the man's point of view, because
From the man's
I would
point of
beg
view.
to differ as a woman.
You would get excited if you see two men.
No. What
making
I'm
out.
saying is, for example, you were saying that you would get more excited about seeing
No,
two
I would
women.
only get excited
Okay,
for
so
two
you
women,
okay? Thank you for
not
the
two
correction.
men.
You would
at all.
only get
No,
excited from seeing two women.
Well, a man and a woman. But I'm just saying, you hear what I'm saying? You just
No.
don't twist my word.
No.
Don't
Which,
twist my
no.
word.
Don't get mad at
Hey,
us.
do us a favor.
Because
Clarify
you're
what you're
coming
saying.
Okay, what
Clarify
I'm saying
you're
is, because the
Does it
question
sound
was,
like-
is it more acceptable for?
No, for
two
you.
women.
Just your
I've
preference.
already answered.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
I'm going by what the question was first. Is it more acceptable for you to see two women compared to two men? Right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, for you,
For me,
since you've been on both sides of it. Yeah.
for me, it's hellified more acceptable
Okay.
for me to see two women making out than to see two men. But that's because I am heterosexual.
And-
So, but you saying that you're heterosexual, but again, to me, you being heterosexual doesn't be the bag up or what am I trying to say? Verifies that women on women is okay. You see what I'm saying?
No.
'Cause society
I'm
has
not
made
saying.
it-
I'm not
yeah.
saying that it's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all
I
right
get
for me.
it. Right, I get it.
What
I
I'm-
get it,
what
but for
I'm-
me,
what I'm
It's all
gonna
right
call-
for me.
what I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna call hypocrisy.
Oh, hell.
Okay,
Isn't he a hypocrite?
and the reason being is because he used that term heterosexual, but yet two people of the same sex
There you
getting
go
it
with
on
this
is going. No,
philosophy.
hold on.
Oh,
It's
man.
going to excite you. Okay, then I call hypocrisy. All right.
Don't you do it.
All right.
I know what you're trying to do.
All right. I'm
Uncle
call-
Will, don't you do it.
Okay.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you.
Let me tell you.
I know it. But anyway, because and so I do find that a lot of men enjoy women on women. You know?
Right.
And so,
Yes.
but as a
Yes.
woman, the same way you might feel about the thinking, oh, two men together. It's how I feel about two women together. Again, no judgment, do what you do or whatever, but I'm just throwing it out there that I don't think men think that women
Okay.
might not agree with that.
Well, let me
For two women.
let me piggyback off of what you just said.
Okay.
She said the term a couple times, no judgment, and
Right.
and I think that's another problem with society.
Mhm.
Okay, is if you believe one way, then you're wrong for believing that way, but you have to accept somebody else's way. If we are to have total liberty and freedom of speech and freedom of thought,
Okay.
my way doesn't have to be the wrong way. Your way doesn't have to. But guess what? Don't judge me for the way I feel that I shouldn't have to let that involve in my life because
Okay.
I am the way I am.
Well, now you bringing it back then, because with the initial question, then why would you judge your man if he told you it was just one point in time in my life? Because at the same time, then
She's not judging. She's
What is
saying
that?
she
I
does
just
not
said-
want to.
Right,
She
right.
don't want to.
I'm saying
Okay,
it
but
would
why?
it would make me feel like I couldn't satisfy him because if you like this over here, and I'm saying I know that I could never give you this. Whatever it is about, so obviously I'm a woman, and if we're talking about a man and a man on a man,
mm-hmm.
obviously maybe it's the strongness, the forcefulness. I don't know what it is about it, you know.
You know,
But if that's what you like, then to me, if you like dick,
Okay.
then you cannot like pussy.
Whoa.
In my mind.
okay.
okay, but do you
Okay.
understand what she's saying? It's kind of like going back to the stereotype when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
My mom kept on feeding me raw vegetables until the doctor said, "Stop! You're going to kill him. He's allergic to it." In other words, she has her preference.
Mhm.
Why are you trying to force your preference onto her and say she has to accept it?
Nah.
And that's the problem with society today.
I'm not trying to force it. Okay, I'm just trying to get the underlying reason, because a lot of the women, because we posed this question before we even got on air. A lot of women that this question was posed to, a lot of them said, "Oh, I'll leave his ass. Oh, I'm done. Oh, if we out to dinner or we making love." In my mind, I'm wondering, because I had someone to say, "What if we out and a fine man walk past? Am I the only one that's saying he's fine?" I'm like, but if he told you it was just a one-time thing, I mean, can you really judge him? Really?
Do you
But it's not.
understand, what you're saying is, again, you're infringing on somebody else's preference. And you forcing that on them.
And,
Okay.
and it's not a judgment. Again, the same way you.
It's a preference.
Again, even on the flip side, I think men as in general, for whatever reason, it's okay to see two women on each other. So you might, if you pose the question, in my mind, you might be more accepting of your girl coming to you saying, hey, you know what, I've had this type of experience in the past. You know what, I'm not interested in that anymore. So you don't think at the level of someone like me who might be like hearing their man say, oh, I was with another man in the past. So because again,
maybe it's insecurity then.
On whose part?
On your part.
Why?
No. Don't go there. See,
now you're using my words. Now you're using my words.
Listen,
No, you're using my words.
I say that.
You're using my words.
Because if my wife was to come to me and say, you know what,
again, if she was with another woman, again, because that's something you've been watching in porn, so you good with it. Now you gonna say some old shit like, well, can we bring her over here? So because men typically are okay with
you're
that.
saying hold on. You're saying you wouldn't?
I'm saying
No. Are you saying you wouldn't?
If your wife was open to it, you gonna say you'll turn it down?
No, I would not be open to it.
No, if your wife said she was open to having another female just for sex.
No, you know
Come
what?
into the bedroom. You saying that even though that's what you watch on porn, you was just doing it last night.
I can watch it on porn, but
you don't want it
because it goes back to what I'm saying, insecurities, right?
So you'd be insecure.
I'll be insecure.
Okay.
I'll be insecure if my wife was to come tell me that you know what, Will, at one point in time I did, because I'll be thinking like, well, damn.
And this was
women
before
are
you?
more, before me.
Okay.
Because women tend to be more in tune to their bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Did you hear what he just said?
I did. Because he was a woman. So he
No.
Not only that, what you're saying is you're actually speaking, and again, this is for your preference, is that men are only about them. They're very selfish when it comes
we
to
are
pleasing
some
women.
selfish.
No. Don't say
I mean,
we. Don't say
come
we.
on,
No. Don't say we.
You know what?
Don't
if
say
you're
we.
Not,
okay, if you're not
you're
French,
that
don't say we. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
3% that has never been. You try to say never in your life you never been selfish when it came down to sex.
When I was a young man.
Okay,
when I was a young but
that's
you're
what I'm saying.
hold on. But what you're speaking about is in general right now. Okay, and when you speak about, let alone for the male gender aspect, okay, maybe that's the problem with society as far as men not being too tentative to their ladies.
Okay.
Or ladies, period.
Now, I feel like we're spiraling to something different, though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because.
And my question would be, would you be more tentative towards a man?
Like you've been in the past. But
no,
I know, let's bring it back.
No.
So if your wife came and said, hey, I've had a same-sex experience in the past.
Years
ago. You know what? Now that I'm married, I want to experience that with you. You're saying
I think that would ruin our marriage. I think.
Okay, and why?
Let me
ruin our marriage because again, that's a different question. You know what I'm saying? If you tell me that, well, you know what, years ago I tried it, I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Would you want her to accept you?
No.
If you did the same thing?
No. I mean,
if she dug into your past and she found out something like that happened.
Mr. Investigator. Let me finish. Okay, let me finish. What I said was, if she was to tell me that something like that happened in the past, I'm not saying that I'm about to leave her alone, but I'm not gonna say that it's not gonna, not rattle in my mind from time to time, like, well damn, was it?
And so then my position would be,
am I doing something right?
Right. You're saying it would, it's not a lingering issue for you. So
no,
she told me,
it's not a lingering issue.
And to me, that's because overall, I think men accept women on women,
and
more
maybe
so
that's what
than
it is.
Women probably would accept
and that
men
brings
on
me
men.
back to that's why a lot of women say, hell no, I'm about to be done. Whereas a man could easily, he'll think about it, but he's like, well, it's not that bad.
Because again, a lot of the menage a trois are two men and one. I mean, you know that 2 men and 1 lady.
Why don't we go a little bit deeper into it? Okay.
But 2 ladies and 1 man.
Would the thought or concern cross your mind that the man that you end up being with, the one that you find out had that previous sexual relationship with another man, say like what Dr. Johnson or somebody, right? That the fact is that man ended up being the recessive one?
Well, for me, honestly, it
would that thought
matter.
cross your? Well, I'm just saying.
It would cross my mind. But to me, it wouldn't matter whether you were giving or receiving.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so that would not play a role for you then?
No, because both of them, whether they're giving or receiving, I would take issue with in terms of me thinking like you said it was something in the past. I can't get past that. So I wouldn't even need to know whether you were giving or receiving.
Because
I'm
some
gonna
of the
treat
people
it the
I
first
ask
way.
they said the same. And someone was like, well, I need to know, was he the recipient or was he delivering? Maybe that'll make a difference.
It wouldn't make a difference to me.
So it wouldn't make it, okay. Well, how about this then? So, let's say he said, okay, we're all in our mid-40s and above, you know, I mean, because you even look like, so you're all in our mid-40s and above, right? So, would it make a difference if he was to say, well, it occurred when I was in my teens, I was like 17, or I was like, in college, I was a freshman, sophomore, and we was at a frat party, and it just happened. And when I woke up, I was like, no, this ain't for me. So would that make a difference then?
It would not make a difference to me because, again, I'm concerned more about the thinking. And, again, if that's your preference, that's fine. But my concern would be if you, again, my analogy, I've never used crack. I know you guys have. I've never used crack, and
I've never used crack. I've never used crack.
That's not what you said. but I don't feel like I need to use crack to know that I don't like it. So it's something for me, you know, that I know I don't need to do this to know that I wouldn't like it. So if your thinking is you got to a point where you even tried it, experimented, then my concern would be it's still there. And that you may do it again, and that I cannot give you anything that will satisfy you from wanting that type of sex.
Okay.
Well, since she went
That's
into
just my thinking.
her thought process, okay?
You don't know my thought process.
Oh, I see that. And we don't know her thought process. Let's explore. Okay, so, in other words, something because of somebody's past, you're going to hold that against them, correct?
That's what it sounds like.
No. Again, and I don't know why y'all acting brand new.
No, I'm just asking you a question. No,
Really?
over here, I'm just asking you a question. So are you saying basically because of something happened years ago and he brought up the age issue was many, many years ago. Now we're in these almost golden ages.
Not me.
I know you're getting there. But anyways, so we're looking and we're going to hold that against that person. What happened when they were like, say 18, 19, 20 years old or whatever, and they're in their 40s, 50 years old because of the feeling or just the thought of that person being with somebody of the same sex, that you will not indulge any further with them in any type of relationship if you even find that out, correct?
What I said was, in this particular situation, yes, if they told me something occurred like this, they've had a same-sex encounter in the past. I don't care how long ago the past was.
What if they didn't know that?
You don't care how long
What if they had a relationship with somebody that were intoxicated or whatever, inebriated, and guess what?
No.
And then they
Okay,
found,
so you were drunk yesterday. Did you
I
go
don't
do
drink,
some? You
but
were drunk.
Okay, we're gonna say for instance.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
okay.
it wasn't a for instance. You were drunk yesterday. Did you go off and do anything that you normally wouldn't do? No, you didn't.
Okay, but
You
no, wait,
are
hold on a second. No, that's a good
saying-
example. Even though, okay, and the thing that, like I said, if I was drunk, I could still see a 5 o'clock shadow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just saying my preference is different. Okay. Everybody's level of whatever they do is different.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What I'm asking you though, if a person will set up for a situation, especially these days, unless you really check chromosomes sometimes because of the operations, shots, and everything else.
That's different. If you were tricked or something,
Okay,
that's
so-
what you're trying to get at. That's
Right.
different.
But it's the same process took place. You're saying because of the attraction prior to.
If somebody had a sex unknowingly with someone who presented themselves as a woman, that's different than intentionally having same sex. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So that's different.
I agree. I agree.
So if somebody told me they were,
I agree.
they got drunk. And
Right.
They got drunk. They woke up. They was next to a man, but when they, when they went to bed, they was with somebody they thought was a woman.
Okay.
That's different than saying, you know what? I was attracted to. I'm a man.
Okay.
I was attracted to this man, and we did it. We, full blown everything. And I don't like it. So I just wanted you to know that. Then I take issue with it only not because that's something that they did, but because of how I look at it. And how I look at it is, if you like man parts, even if it was for a moment in time, if you like man parts, there's nothing that I can give you because I have woman parts.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know.
And I know you had a sex change, but you changed yourself back, and so you can attest.
I was
to,
waiting for that.
Check
I was
this out.
waiting for that. I was
know
waiting
your
for
boy.
that.
And then put your
I was
business out
waiting
there.
for
I know we
that.
signed
Uncle
stuff
Will.
saying that we wasn't gonna do that. But
I know I'm a bad boy, but I ain't that damn. Okay.
who's your doctor, by the way?
wants to get rid of her 5 o'clock shadow. That's what she's saying. But
I think she shaved before she came. Yeah, it don't look like it. But check
You
it.
did.
You shaved, and I see you did just lazy as hell.
you noticed too, huh?
Yeah. You did just lazy as hell. So look, now you said that if they have any kind of attraction, it don't matter the age. Now to me, wouldn't you see think that it'll be a difference if, let's say you're 45 and your man came to you.
His man.
Well,
you know, you didn't.
Not your man.
No. You messed up on a worded question. But I'm just to put it this way. I'm gonna try and lock her down on this. Okay.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna try and lock you down on this. I mean, you're secure with you, but I'm just gonna ask you just a couple questions.
No,
you're the age you are right now.
Right.
I see your AARP card, but I'm just saying.
I don't
okay.
care.
When you were 21, compared to
which was yesterday.
Well, compared to the various difference right now on the age, are you that same person you were when you were 21?
Of course not. Nobody is.
Okay. Are you the same person as you were when you were 30?
No, she's not.
Okay.
The same.
I'm not 30 yet, so I don't know.
Okay, so all I'm saying is we change.
That's right. We do.
Okay, we're never the same person we were a day ago, a minute ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. Okay? And if that behavior happened at that time, you're saying the behavior may happen again. Okay?
But if it haven't happened again, how can you say if he tells you?
In other words, what she's saying is she's insecure that behavior will happen again, and she's not woman enough to deal with it.
That's
what she's saying.
That's not true.
I mean,
say what you
that's
want.
what
Throw
you
your
know. What?
shots.
I'm not trying to throw a pot shot at her, by no means, because to me, it's a difference if someone come to you and tell you at 17, 18 I did it, compared to a dude that come to you and say, hell, when I was 35, shit,
Why?
I had this itch. I had an 8-ball, you know what I'm saying, malt liquor, and me and my boy Jesse, we was out shooting pool. We just had a good time.
Hold on. Why did you have to associate an 8-ball and malt liquor with a guy named Jesse and shooting pool?
I'm just saying, the dude probably said, well, you know what? I was 35 and boys out shooting pool. We got drunk, and something just happened. We just looked at each other, and then boom, 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 boom. And then once I did, I said, oh, hell no. That ain't me.
That sounds like this.
Jesse,
yeah.
We gonna stay cool. We're not gonna talk about this shit ever again. Now that's different compared to.
No, so you're saying it's different because older.
Because
if it
the
happened,
young mind is still being developed.
Okay. So
and
you're
inquisitive.
saying so you had this experience when you were younger.
No.
And why not?
No.
You know
why not? Why not though?
Because for myself, I knew that wasn't me.
Okay, so again, you knew then that you didn't like man parts for yourself.
I've been a managed ass kid since I was I was like 9 years old behind steps, trying to get into some shit.
That's terrible.
Mama whooping my butt.
Right.
Because I was just mad playing house.
So you've been a predator all your life.
Right. No, she wanted it too. She was a little managed ass girl too. But the point I'm making is, I was managed for the opposite sex.
Okay, let me throw this at you then.
Right.
Okay. Now this question goes for both of you then. What if it was cybersex? What if
you
they
mean
never
just talk?
They had cybersex or even phone sex with the same sex?
That's still the same to me.
It's
still
especially
the
if it's
same
current.
to me.
Because to me, you can't say, well, what I'm gonna do is to defeat the purpose of me having physical contact with the same sex, to say that I am legally not gay. I'm just gonna do it.
But would you let that inhibit you from having a relationship with that individual? That's my question. Okay.
I would.
For one, I wouldn't be doing it. Number one. But if I was to do it, let me tell you, I'm gay.
It's the same.
At that point, to me, you gay.
Yeah, and my question is, if you did it at that point, would you stop only at that point?
Because
evidently you won't.
No, I'm asking you. If you did it at that point, would you stop at that point?
If we're being theoretical, evidently I wouldn't be able to stop at that point because
I'm
doing it.
Hold on. Why wouldn't you be able to stop?
Because it's something that I like at that point.
Okay.
But since I don't like it, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
But what I'm saying though is, if that was something that I was doing, I can't tell nobody that. Well, I'm not gay. That's like a dude going to jail, but getting out, knowing that he had sexual relationships with another dude, but then when he get out, he say, "Well, you know what, babe? I was jail gay."
Okay.
No,
gay for the state. That's what they say. Gay for the state.
Okay,
that's what they say. But the thing, what you're trying to say is, you can't control if you do something. Once you start, you
Once
can't
you
stop.
start.
That's what you're saying.
Once you start,
I understand. I mean, think
I
before
think-
you
Once
say
you
that
start,
one now. Hold
it all
on. Think
depends.
okay.
Even to me, even and we'll go a step further, cyber sex, if you
Right.
will. To me, that's even more being more involved than actual intercourse.
Really?
Yes, because it involves your mind more so, than the physical aspect. Physical aspects can be more instinctive, but your mind is more intentional, in my opinion.
okay.
And
okay,
so
I
that's
see
even
that.
whether it's heterosexual or homosexual. But to me, mentally, that's why. Think about it. When a woman finds out that her mate or significant other or whatever is even talking to someone on the phone, having phone sex or whatever, they're mad about that just as much as you
Yeah.
putting your penis in something.
Wow.
Because guess what? That it's that physical connection. I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's that mental connection.
Okay.
You know. So
I can
when
see
you
that.
talk about
I can see
cyber
that.
stuff, so if we're talking the same question,
Mhm.
how would we feel if it was your significant other or whatever told you about a same sex encounter, but now we're talking about told you about a cyber sex encounter. They they didn't physically get involved with the person,
Right,
but
right.
mentally they were engaged with each other. I think I'd be more scared about that than the other one.
So
see that.
let me ask you this then.
see
If you're with somebody, you've been with them probably, well, I'm just going to throw a figure out there, 10 years.
Mhm.
Okay. And say you two had 4 kids together.
Mhm.
Okay.
We breaking
That's
up.
good.
And then
no, you got
we-
mortgage.
hold on.
You
You,
best
hold
break it
on.
up.
You got 4 kids together. You've been together for 10 years.
Mhm,
Okay. And then all of a sudden,
Damn good question.
you find a little note. Okay.
They've
Oh,
been
God.
communicating.
No, they haven't been communicating. Something that was jotted down. It could have been a yearbook. Could have been something
Like
that.
they drew hearts around, like you
Well,
drew hearts around
And
Willie Johnson's face.
it leads to
XOXO.
that person telling you that they had a one night stand with a guy. Okay.
Mm.
I would feel like I didn't know.
Okay. And are you going to make him apologize for something that happened prior to you?
Why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't you?
Hold up. So this was prior or
This is prior to.
not actually
This is
Because
prior
it was
to.
false.
Okay,
Don't
right.
come to me if you don't like women. Don't come to me.
4 years? No, 4 kids later. 10 years
Right,
later.
and it's
yeah,
all
4
been a
kids.
trick.
10 years
And
later.
it's all been a trick.
So you believe everything was a lie then?
I do.
Wow.
Especially when it comes to that. If you
You
flip
like that question,
flopping,
didn't you?
That
Give
is
me a little minute.
if you flip flopping, I mean, don't come to me and try to start nothing with me if you flip flopping.
But,
Either
okay,
I personally
now my question.
would rather
Now
know.
my question. Hold
I
on.
personally would rather know a man is gay than he's not sure or been going back and forth or I would personally rather them be straight out gay.
But someone doesn't have a
Then-
right. Somebody doesn't have a right to change their mind, change
Yeah,
their
they can
preference.
change their mind, but
Right.
don't use me in the process.
No. I'm talking about when they were young. Let me impose that question to you.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
you would know.
You're with your wife, say 20 years.
Okay.
Okay. Knowing you probably have 50 kids together now. Okay. After 20 years, you got 50 kids together,
50,
right?
really?
Okay.
You doing that?
And all of a sudden, there's a knock at the door.
Okay.
All right.
50.
And a lady says, "I'd like to see your wife." You hear them get in an argument. She said, "I told you to stay away from me, out of my life, and everything else." You find out in the earlier days that she had a one-night stand with this girl, and this girl ended up being, or this lady now, was a fatal attraction person. But yet she comes back because she wants her now after however many years. Okay? Over 20 years later, and you have 50 kids together.
Mhm.
Okay? And your wife had never told you about it.
Well, let me tell you.
Again, a man is going to
Let me
accept
tell
a
you this.
woman being with another woman before the opposite. Because
It's an issue. Number one.
and he watches this
No,
porn all the
listen.
time. So it's probably the lady from the porn.
If after 20 years,
What's her name?
Go ahead.
if after 20 years, a female had the audacity to knock on my door and profess her love to my wife, and in my mind, I'm thinking she haven't been dealing with this woman at all. But then again, I'm thinking she must have been dealing with this fool because
would she
after
come
20
out the
years,
blue?
why? Cause no, this ain't no out the blue shit.
Right. And does it matter if your wife was the giver or the receiver?
Oh, good question. Damn.
And wifey, I
Ooh.
swear to God, this is nothing personal.
Okay.
That is, that's really a good question. That really
Yeah,
is.
It really is a good
Wow. What's
I
wrong?
mean,
you
you
seem a little
know-
discombobulated.
question. Very, very, because. Wow,
Because what?
I mean,
think about
I'm
how
not
things
used to
are right
being
now in the
stuck.
bedroom, so you wonder if you had to switch the role or something?
Right. Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Look at here.
Wow, hey, let me give you, that was a good question. Look, let me give it to you. That was good. That was good.
You get that for that? Oh, you won't let me get that, right?
No, y'all not giving
listen,
that on me. No.
I'm trying to vibe with you on this. Come on, what's your
Listen.
answer to that? You actually
Listen.
stuck on pause.
You know what?
Push play.
The point is that something's still going on.
Oh, no. The point was she asked you a
Something's
direct
going on.
question.
Right.
Would it
I'm
matter
asking
if she was the
She's the
giver or
top
the
or the
receiver?
bottom.
Yeah. Would that matter to you?
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
respect?
I mean, because in my mind, she definitely got to be the receiver.
Why?
Because she just seemed like she would like to
Okay.
receive.
Okay.
I'm just saying. What? I'm just saying.
She like to receive.
I mean, I would think that
Okay,
she's the
okay.
receiver. You know what I'm saying?
But what? So okay. So let's say
Pick your head up, brother.
she
please.
was not the
Pick your head up.
receiver.
Pick your
Look,
head up.
let's say she was not the receiver in
Okay.
this situation. Because
Okay.
it sounds like you're saying, oh, she liked to receive, probably because maybe you probably in your mind
I
feel
believe
like
I see
you
a tear coming out of his eye.
you feel like you always give it and not getting receive it at the level that you feel like you give it.
Oh,
so let's say
God.
you found out
Wow.
she was the giver
Oh,
in that,
sheesh.
you'd be fucked up, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I would. I would.
So but would it be because you're like, man, you don't be doing me, or is it because you thinking like, wow, those types of qualities that it
Would the
takes
relationship
to be
stay
the
intact?
giver.
I mean, I'm gonna answer both of those. One, because I can't imagine my wife ever being with
Does it look
another
like you
woman.
ready to cry?
It
No.
does. It's
Wow.
Wow. I just cannot imagine my wife being with another woman, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. I just can't see it.
Before you go any further,
just
on
can't
that,
see
she's
it.
not aware about the thing about guys. One about the mental state, the emotional state that we actually will picture.
I mean,
And just that thought
and
alone.
that's where I'm going, because
You're right.
we already mentally get screwed up just the whole thought of another man pleasing our woman.
And for those who don't know, if a guy is with you, I don't care if you have, say like in his case, 12 kids already, okay? But once he gets with that
Yeah, I'm
woman,
not in the rear,
it's,
either.
even though those
And
kids
you're
are
not in
there,
the
we
rear?
still think we're that only one.
That's
We're
right.
the only one. So
That's
go
right.
ahead now.
So if we think our woman is cheating, right? We're imagining this brute, because that's what this guy is. He's a freaking brute,
Who's a brute?
heaving and hoving and just
A
punishing it.
mandinga.
He's punishing it. He's
Oh,
punishing it,
dang,
right?
where he at?
So we're mentally freaking screwed, right? Oh,
So
imagine a woman.
so now your wife is the one, the brute,
Now,
who's punishing.
that's what
And
I'm
all those years she wasn't there with you.
big ass strap thing on and just delivering
The pain.
the pain, right?
Okay.
And the same
So
thing, that's
that
probably what kept
mentally
you two
messing
together,
with
though.
you.
Did you ever think about it? That's probably what kept you two
guess
together.
what? Exactly. And guess what? She could do the same to you.
And that's
No,
what I'm saying.
no,
That's
no,
what
no.
kept them together all these years.
I mean, hey.
You could be the receiver.
Me and my wife, I love you, dear. We've been together for going on almost 20 years.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So I love you, and let's keep it going the way it's going. I don't want no thoughts of this, and I know
Sorry.
I ain't gonna give you no thoughts of nothing going on. So anyway, and I got that disclaimer out.
Right.
Don't tell them.
I got that disclaimer out. But the thing is, I just honestly feel that, and I guess I'm feeling a different way because I'm trying to be more in tune with not being insensitive because of my daughters. You know what I'm saying? And they told me that if it was to happen to them, that they would be able to forgive that dude because their feeling is,
It happened before.
hey, it happened for them, and you can't judge no one.
Let me just say this then.
Millennials.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to say this. Earlier, we found out about, you go into their room and you watch pornography, and it was acceptable to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know nothing
Good
about it.
HD. HD.
Right, and we didn't know
It's
anything.
HD.
And we didn't know about it. Okay, and then you were
We
talking
did,
about.
That's how we knew we probably don't be sitting next to him. But
Exactly,
go
and I'm glad to see you got that bottle instead of the lotion bottle right now.
Right.
But now you're telling us
Been looking
that
at his hands
if
for
you
long.
if your wife, I try not to. That's why I give them the depth. But now you're saying if you found out your wife was the dominant one, you would be messed up.
In the same sex relationship, yes,
Right.
I
So,
would be.
Again, I call
I would be.
hypocrite.
No, I don't care what you call it. Shit. Willie Johnson, goddamn.
Oh my God.
That's the win, baby.
What difference does that make who you
I call
are?
That's my feelings.
Wow,
Okay.
okay.
That's my feelings.
Do you
That's how I
feel?
feel.
Do you feel after all those years that you were being cheated out of something?
No. The
So
only
what
way
were you missing?
Yeah,
I don't feel like I was cheated out of anything. You know what I'm saying? Because
that was before you now.
because
Right.
now keep
And
in
with
mind.
another woman.
This
'cause
is
again,
a-
men like
You
women on
acting
women.
like it's factual, okay? We're talking about some
No, we're not.
hypothetical things here, okay?
Again,
Right.
this is just throwing out
Right.
ideas and opinions. That's
Right.
it. That's it.
Remember? It's your show.
Exploring,
Remember?
going further. Remember?
Remember?
Yeah. Have you forgotten?
You know what? Listen.
Trying to quit his own show.
Listen. God damn it, I'm done with y'all. Look. All I'm just saying is, it took a lot for Uncle Will to learn how to sit back and try to put myself in other people's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. A lot of people thought that Tank, the artist, the singer, he said some stuff
He
about.
did.
So he said that he was referring to doing oral sex on the butt and some other stuff or whatever, and that word that he said was just a term that is normally used. I
What
never
was
heard
the
it
word?
used. He said something like he eat from the pretty much like from Rudy to the tooth.
Okay,
You know, something
okay.
like no. I suck it on some kind of stuff
Yeah,
he
but he
said,
talking about that
but he said
phrase
it
was
was
in
in
reference
reference
to-
to oral
Wow,
sex on a
okay.
woman. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So.
never heard that.
So you know, even though he's known for performing for the LGBT, he said that he's not gay. But again, some people, some like women were really upset with it because
I
they
think
see
men
him
and
as a
women.
sex symbol.
Okay,
Right.
understand. They had their own delusional behavior. Okay, he is a performer, and that is his choice. Remember, that is his choice. Just like it's your choice to accept if you found out your wife was a dominant one or
This
not.
is
No,
what
I'm just saying. I'm not coming at you like that. I'm just saying that it's your choice to sit in the dark,
I gotta
eating
go
salty
there.
peanuts,
Sitting in
drinking
the dark.
cactus juice, okay, watching porno. Okay?
Freak ass.
Right.
I'm just saying, it's a
Are
preference.
you serious?
Okay? So are you just sit there and criticize what's going on behind somebody's closed doors? Now understand if they're infringing on you and now they want to share their lifestyle with you, you may feel different. But you're talking about somebody who's out there doing their own thing, but yet you criticize them. But now when the ball comes in your own court,
No.
okay, then you want to switch up.
See.
So let me ask you this: if they
you
would
want a
impose,
whole
let me just throw this at you. If they
Some
would have,
shit
if
right
that
now.
girl or that lady, 20 years, something years later, would have came there, okay, and threw a film in front of you, would you sat there in the dark eating salty peanuts, drinking cactus juice, watching that film?
I would have watched the whole thing just so I could make my decision on some
Oh,
stuff.
you'd have to watch. You need to watch the whole thing to make the decision.
I need to watch the whole thing. I ain't gonna lie. Okay.
Right, okay.
And depending on what's on it, me and I have some words.
Oh,
I ain't
my
gonna lie.
God.
That's prior
You
to.
had to
Hey,
watch it a couple
prior
That's
times.
to,
prior to.
Right.
right? So, but
Have you forgotten the person you fell in love with that you had the 50 kids with? Have you forgotten?
not for me. To me, if I'm vested now, because that's the key thing. You vested.
Okay.
You got mortgage. You got kids.
Forgiveness.
You got all. So at that point,
Forgiveness.
you will have to consider forgiving. At
Well,
least I would think.
No, this is what. Hold on. That's where I'm gonna get you with this one.
But okay.
Because is it forgiven if it happened prior to you?
I'm talking about something that happened
Yeah, because
prior.
they
I'm not
should've
talking about
told
during the courtship, during the marriage. I'm
You know
talking
what?
about something that happened prior to.
Because why even tell
I can't hold that.
it right if you're not feeling convicted about it?
You know what?
Because so
I would like-
you didn't bring your true
I would-
self,
I would
and
like
that's
to
something
begin.
that you might have been. They knew that this is something that you,
You know
might
what?
have disapproved of,
Right.
For what again, for whatever reason. So that's why they brought it to him. So my thing is, why even bring it to you if you don't think you need forgiveness? You don't think it's nothing
Right.
that is going to mess up the relationship or whatever. But for this is something that this person would have never accepted, possibly.
Right.
So why? Otherwise, why not talk about it in the beginning? Like, oh,
Well, you know what? I would like to
you
table
see.
that thought for another show. That
Mm.
would be a good one.
Mhm.
In regards to how much do you tell your spouse or significant other about your past? How
Now,
open
let's
are
ask you,
would
though.
never tell them.
Okay.
Well, how would you feel
Wait, hold
about?
on, hold on. What'd you
No,
say?
I'm just saying you never tell your spouse everything you did. But go ahead.
Well, we'll save it for another show.
Yeah,
We'll save it for another
Right,
show.
we
Go
don't
ahead.
want to get you in trouble. Now,
Go ahead.
if it happened to you,
What's that?
like if you were dating someone You long term, whether you guys got married or not, but long term relationship. And they said, "Hey, I've had this type of encounter in the past."
I spoke earlier. I did.
Okay, what?
I was involved with a
Okay.
lady who had previous relationships
With
with
women.
with women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had.
I don't remember what you said.
No, I said I had that.
So how did you feel?
That ain't what caused the end of the relationship.
No, I'm not saying.
See-
I'm saying, how did you feel about
Oh,
that?
we
though?
talked about it.
Okay.
And see,
And it was okay
In the
with
beginning,
you.
though, y'all talked about in the very beginning of the relationship, or was it during the courtship
one of them,
that she disclosed
one
it
of
to
them
you?
was during
Hey,
the
what
relationship.
was it? Are
Damn.
you driving them to the same sex?
You would be you would be surprised
Oh.
again where people don't want to speak open, let alone they're worried about being judged.
Okay. Yeah, I can see
And
that.
at a certain point, when someone feels comfortable, they open up. Okay. So as far as exploring that thought, being disclosed and feel comfortable, that ain't what caused the end of the relationship.
We don't hear about
Okay.
the end of the
No,
relationship.
what I'm
We say,
saying-
how
what
did
I'm-
you feel
what I'm-
about it?
Oh, I want to know in depth
Yeah.
in regards to
Okay.
to their comfort level.
Yeah.
And we talked
Okay.
about it. To me, I'm
But
saying
it was nothing. It was like, we had a conversation about it, and it was good after that.
we had a couple conversations
Okay.
in regards to that.
And
but,
you were fine.
I was fine with that because
Okay.
I'm secure with me. And that's why I brought that
I
issue
don't know
up
why
earlier
you guys
about
think it has
security.
anything to do with security, though.
It
Because
do.
I'm very secure
It do.
in myself.
It do. It do.
And I'm
It
just
do.
saying
It do.
that
It
because
do.
of my preference.
Your preference pulled a person who's attracted to a possibly at that time or previously to want to be in a relationship with somebody of a different gender altogether. That says a lot in regards to, but you automatically say, well,
I do.
okay, that's again, and you know
And
what
that's
I'm
a preference.
but-
It doesn't have
but
to
you know what I'm
be
saying to that?
involved in being insecure.
But you know what I'm
Because
saying
like
to
I said,
that?
I'm very secure with myself.
Okay.
But if you like this,
No,
and
no,
I
no,
know
no.
I can't give that to you,
But that's where you messed up. It's not if you like this. If you tried this, because like I said,
that meant you liked it.
No,
Liked
no.
it enough to try it.
But keep in mind-
I
keep in
tried
mind-
cigarettes when I was a kid.
Okay, but I tried it. So she was.
No wonder your lips look like that.
Yeah,
but I didn't keep
But
smoking.
keep in mind,
cigarette.
I'm not going to sit there and say shame on you for your preference.
And men typically
Okay.
don't. You know why? Because the society
keep
makes.
Say it.
I
Hold on,
sure
hold on.
do.
Say it
I
again.
sure
Let her
do.
say it.
I
Let
sure
her
do.
say it. Let her say it.
Because
Let her say it.
society accepts women on women before they accept men on
And
men.
I
It's
agree.
in the
Okay.
media. I mean,
I
so
agree.
you have, so
I
that,
agree
that's
on
what we
that.
push towards. It's okay
I
for
mean,
women to be with women.
models be all on each other. Women be that. You would not
Yeah.
see no
You're
man
not gonna see
or
that.
men
Not
on the
openly.
cover
And
of Men Fitness.
Well, hold
where
on. That's
one
changing
guy
up.
all
No,
like
it's
this.
changing
No, that's
but
changing
right.
up.
It
What
is.
I'm saying to, this is what I'm saying, is equality is equality. Don't fault me for not wanting to be with somebody who's like that. Just like
Right.
don't fault you, or don't fault you if you do. Okay, everyone
Right.
has their own preference.
Right,
Why
right. I
is
agree.
society
I see.
moving towards trying to impose to say you have to accept it or you're phobic? That's the problem. If you don't like it, you become a phobic. Okay? No, I don't become a phobic. I just have my own preference. That's it. Dr. Johnson has his own preference.
Please don't call
Lat-
him Dr. Johnson.
Latte has her own preference. I have my own preference.
Yes,
Okay? That's
I agree.
it.
I agree.
You
I
know?
agree. I agree upon that.
But the thing that bothers me with this whole discussion, everything was good until you found out she was dominant. That's the thing I'm having a problem with.
Yeah.
Okay, why was that? Hold your head up, brother, please. Okay? All right. That's the thing I'm having. That's something you and your wife are going to have to talk over, okay?
Okay, so me and the wife, we'll deal with that later, right?
All right.
So look, to summarize this all on up, what would you say to summarize your feeling up on this whole thing, Latte?
How I would summarize it is, again, being a heterosexual female, never having experienced a woman relationship,
Okay.
not interested in a woman relationship. If I was in a relationship with a male and he told me that some years ago or at some point he had a man-on-man experience, I would be bothered by it, truthfully. I would be bothered by it to the point where I'm not sure that we could continue the relationship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because again, my thinking is, if you've had some type of sexual relation with a same-sex man on man, whether it be physical or mental,
Word.
that's nothing that I can give you. So,
Word. Okay. And
because I have female body parts.
Okay. Yes, you do. So, the Professor C. Rizzle.
I am not a
Wrap it
professor.
on.
I just have my own opinions about things. But me personally, that was prior to the relationship.
Okay.
And in the past, when I was confronted, and I do mean confronted with that,
Mm-hmm.
in regards to different levels, and all of a sudden, at a certain point where they felt they had break honesty, it just caused me to rock that ass even harder. Okay?
Ooh.
and you guys broke up. But anyway.
Hey! Drop them
Nice one, nice one. Why you tell everybody our business? That's all I want to know.
For real.
Give me that one, give me that
That little thing crazy.
I need a
No, whatever that one.
Why?
But we don't whatever that. That's a good point. I like that. So check it out.
one.
I'm gonna wrap it on up by saying, you know, we live in an era, just like my man C. Wright was saying about why we have to be conscientious on people's choices and everything of that nature, which is okay,
It's okay.
right? It's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay to be respectful. You know, my generation, we was raised to be respectful to our elders. Gentleman was raised to open the door for a lady. So it's okay to be acceptable, but C. Wright also says something, why should we be bombarded, right? Okay, that's another topic. Here's this. If your mate, whether it's a male or female, come to you and tell you one time in my life, again, one time, I had a same-sex encounter. The question is, what would you do? You should ask yourself, do it matter what level we're in, far as if we have a mortgage together, do we have kids together? Was it before me? Did he like it? Did he love it?
Like you did.
Do it really matter? To the moon, man. At the end of the day,
Oh, that's great. That's great.
we need to be patient. We need to be understanding. We need to be acceptable to whatever someone tried in the past. But you still do have the right to ask the question, are you still doing it, buddy?
Are you still doing it, buddy?
Are
Yes,
you?
do.
Are you?
I'm not. Never
Anymore?
have. And you know what? That's my word, damn it.
Whatever.
That's his word.
Deuces. Y'all some crazy
No, that's
people.
you.
I don't know. What we gonna
Hey.
do with y'all?
You good?
No.
You good?